In response to Donna Brazile's revelations that Hillary Clinton's campaign took full control of the DNC in as early as August of 2015, the Democratic Party establishment's most loyal propagandist came to the rescue, and she decided to tell all of us plebeians and peasants that really there's no way that the DNC could have rigged an election in spite of the evidence that they did in fact rig the election from the beginning. And one of her guests went ahead and told us the real election that was actually rigged.
It's an interesting dynamic. There have been people who support Bernie Sanders who are really elated with this information, and some even using it to push the really absurd idea that Hillary Clinton rigged the primaries. You can't rig 50-plus primaries. There's no way to do it. States hold primaries. The DNC doesn't dictate. You go in there and force you to vote for Hillary Clinton. More people voted for Hillary Clinton. Like, that's just the fact.
But to your point about the rigged elections, I mean, if we want to talk about rigged elections, we should look at the general election and Russia's interference into our democracy. And so that's that.
Wow. I don't even know how to respond to that. This clip, I've watched it multiple times now in preparation for this segment, and each time it's left me speechless. When the evidence is right in front of you, they're still denying it, and it's not like we didn't already have enough evidence with the WikiLeaks release of John Podesta's emails to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that the 2016 primary was rigged. This is just more evidence, but they're still denying it. So I want to get to Joy Ann Reid's quote. She says that Sanders supporters are using Brazile's bombshell to push the absurd idea that Hillary Clinton rigged the primaries. You can't rig 50-plus primaries. There's no way to do it. States hold primaries. The DNC doesn't dictate or force you to vote for Hillary Clinton. More people voted for Hillary Clinton. The DNC very much did rig the primary, and I'm glad that you brought up states because, in fact, they played their part as well. We all remember the Arizona Democratic Party convention when Roberta Lang brazenly rigged the rules in front of Bernie Sanders supporters. And when they were booing her, when they booed people like Barbara Boxer, who came out and tried to drum up support for Hillary Clinton, well, then Debbie Wasserman Schultz the next day went in the media and lied about them getting angry and throwing chairs. And that's not all. When you look at New York, well, for some reason in Brooklyn, more than 100,000 Democratic Party voters were purged from the rolls in a district that leaned towards Bernie Sanders. What do you make of that? What about the fact that in Massachusetts, Bill Clinton, with his motorcade, blocked polling booths in districts that were likely to go to Bernie? He blocked them. People couldn't vote. There was videos of this. So yes, I'm glad you brought this up, Joy, because states certainly played their part, but the DNC, they also played their part as well. The DNC, with their superdelegates, they rigged it from the beginning. The DNC chose to hide away all of Hillary Clinton's opponents with their rigged debate schedule. They had debates the weekend before major holidays like Christmas. The DNC did rig it. And with this joint fundraising agreement where they ceded control of the DNC and the DNC's finances and who would be their communications director, Debbie Wasserman Schultz said that they were impartial and she's neutral. How can it be a neutral election? How can they be neutral, that is, if Hillary Clinton is in full control of the DNC? Bernie Sanders was not offered that same fundraising agreement. He wasn't. So Joy Ann Reid here is lying. Hillary Clinton won more votes specifically because the DNC sabotaged Bernie Sanders and gave Hillary Clinton an unfair advantage. So to deny that the primary was rigged when we have all of this evidence, you're just delusional, Joy, but we know that you know the truth because Joy Ann Reid is a very intelligent individual. I've seen her go after Republicans. She's smart. She knows her stuff. All she's doing is propaganda. She is a paid propagandist, so she's doing exactly what she was paid to do, even if it makes her look foolish, even if she is sacrificing her integrity as a result. But I don't want to just focus on Joy Ann Reid because her guest said, to your point about the rigged elections, if we want to talk about rigged elections, we should look at the general election and Russia's interference in our democracy. Really? You're honestly saying that Russian troll farms who posted memes on Facebook is equivalent to the DNC rigging everything from the beginning? Are you really saying that? Let's look at how Russia supposedly interfered and meddled in the election. We have memes that said support Hillary. We have memes about coloring Bernie Sanders, like a Bernie coloring book, whatever that's supposed to be. That's what Russian trolls supposedly posted. We have Hands Up Don't Shoot campaigns and how Russia used Pokemon Go to bring awareness to the fact that state-sanctioned violence against people of color has been an issue for decades in this country. We have memes featuring Jesus and Satan. So, I mean, to you, these memes had more of an impact than what the DNC did? Really? And she's from Move On. I actually really like the organization Move On. I think they're a great progressive organization. How can you say that with a straight face? You honestly think that what Russia did to sway the election was more consequential than what the DNC did to sway the primaries? You can't tell me that with a straight face. Now, can you say, yes, what Russia did, even if it was, not very consequential, it still was an attempt to sway the election? That's fine. If you want to admit that, that's fine. I don't necessarily think that what Russia did was substantial in any way, shape, or form, but sure, there was evidence that they tried to hack into voting rolls and whatnot, and we don't know if they actually did. We see now that they have evidence that they were spreading memes, but even though they did that, maybe they wanted to tip the scales, you cannot tell me with a straight face that what Russia did was more consequential than what the DNC did. It's a joke. It's a complete joke. I don't even know what to say. When you have this level of propaganda and misinformation being spread on the so-called lefty news organization, there's no way that voters are going to be informed when they go into the voting booth if they really just do get their information from cable news shows like Joy Ann Reid. So, look, this is nothing more than propaganda, and what Joy Ann Reid is doing is very harmful. If she honestly thinks that the Democratic Party can move forward without addressing the past injustice that was the 2016 primary and how they rigged it in Hillary Clinton's favor, then she's got bad news coming, because they can't. The party is divided, and the first step to healing that divide is addressing what they did wrong in the past. If you want to, correct a problem, you've got to first admit that there's a problem in the first place. But people like Joy Ann Reid don't think that's the case. And, her hubris and being paid to lie, it's going to come back to bite her in the ass, because if she really is liberal, like she says she is, and cares about the issues she claims to care about, then she is enabling the party to continue to do bad things and thus lose. So she is allowing Republicans to win and defeat Democrats. But please continue to blame us.
Support this podcast by becoming a patron at patreon.com/Humanist Report.